हम एक दूसरे का सपना एक साथ ले सकते हैं।
Business was built on complete trust. I used to sit with the workers outside.
अच्छा.
And that was the biggest learning experience of my life. KBC आ रहा है, हमको उसमें advertisement करना है. And he made this wonderful film of Super Vasmol 33 Kesh Kala and he said, Vasmol ने किया कमाल. That was the jingle.
Oh yeah, I remember the jingle.
Fail fast, fail cheap. Fail fast, fail cheap. Fail fast, fail cheap. Fail
So
fast, fail
important.
cheap.
I think that fail fast
Fail
and
cheap.
then feel cheap.
And the other thing is, don't fall in love with your innovation.
Correct.
As luck would have, God was so kind. Came Nach Bali. Malaika Arora was the judge.
Wow.
And we bombarded that episode, that season with this particular film. And Streax became Streax. The power of media and the power of right communication. I always tell founders, make a company that can be bought.
Yeah.
Don't make a company which you want to sell. We wrote a song, Hum Hai Vasmol, Bechenge Vasmol. We grew by 18% next year. And after that, we kept on growing in double digit.
Incredible.
आगे रहेंगे अपना गोल
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Money Talks. And today I'm so glad that I've had the opportunity to interview an entrepreneur, an investor. I think one of the people I respect so much because he's also a door-to-door salesman, just like me, right? And the fact that his journey is so interesting. I think there are so many perspectives to go through today. Everything from a founder starting off their journey to a family office to raising private equity to working with private equity investors and how to really develop a company, and which I hope in the next few years will definitely be a stellar IPO in the markets. I think that there is just so much to learn from this journey that literally started off on the floors of being a chemist, right? Literally started from there, and today we are sitting here. I'm so glad to have Manish ji. I think I must mention that I did meet him under circumstances where I was raising capital for him, and he actually got mad at me because of something I said. But then when we verified, he was quite happy, and I think now we're working on multiple deals together. So without further ado, I think I've said a lot in this intro. But without further ado, I would love to welcome the founder and chairman of Hygienic Research Institute, HRIPL, as it is called, Manish Chhabra. Manish ji, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Anirudh, for inviting me. It's very difficult when you are asked questions to tell about your story. But I think I'll try my best. The whole idea is to tell people, young founders and entrepreneurs all across the world, what goes behind and what are the do's and the don'ts. They say that people do not, listen, but they hear stories and they make inferences from stories. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to tell you a few stories of this journey.
Yep.
And maybe, that will help our listeners in casting their own stories and making their own journey. Just one caveat. This is my story, my journey, our journey of HRIPL, but it had its own circumstances.
Yep.
So go with the spirit of what I say and not exactly with the letter.
And I think as we look back, right, because this journey is now, I think, more than 30 years in the making, it's very interesting. I don't think you started out wanting to or thinking of being part of HRIPL, but there were circumstances that led to it.
Yes, Anirudh, you are right. I was doing my pharmacy in Pune College, and I was 19, and that's the time when I got to know one day that it was 5th of December, and I was going back to Pune after that Christmas break, because 26th our college would start, and I was in Siangad Express, and then suddenly Siangad Express stopped, and that was 91. You could stop a train, so and there were no mobile phones. So one of my friends actually came running and told the driver that 2 minute, and then they searched me, and they got me out, and they said, "You got to come. Your dad is not well." And I said, "Okay, what happened?" And I was in my own 31st is coming enjoyable mode. They were singing. I had already started in the in the train as we were just leaving BT station. But I got down, and then I got to know that my father passed away. He was 44. I was 19. My mother was 38. And my brother was 15. So I joined the business actually for survival.
Oh, wow.
It was not okay. Eventually, I would have surely come and joined my dad's business, but it wouldn't have been at this time. I would have, actually done my masters, but as circumstances were, it was actually survival, and we needed to do something to, for bread and butter.
Right.
And that's how I, joined the family business. I'm very thankful to my father and my grandfather who started this business along with my uncle. And in 87, my grandfather passed away. In 89, my father passed away. So my uncle was left alone, and gem of a person he was. But he would take care of admin and accounts, but he did not understand manufacturing. My father was a pharmacist also.
Achha.
So he would take care of factory, production, sales, and my uncle would take care of
What were the products you were selling at the time?
So at that time, we had only one product, Vasmol.
Achha.
Vasmol was developed by my father.
Okay.
In 1970. The formulation of Super Vasmol 33 Kesh Kala was developed by my father.
And just for the international audience, what is this Super Vasmol?
So Super Vasmol 33 Kesh Kala is a single solution hair dye.
Okay.
So hair dyes, hair colors, that time we used to call them dyes.
Okay.
So dyes come in different formats: powders, creams, liquids, emulsions. Super Vasmol 33 was unique in its way because it was a single solution, DIY, do it yourself. You did not require mixing. It's oil based. So people apply it like an oil.
Okay.
And then your hair gets darker by the day. So that was the formulation, and that was the ticket to our success. So,
and this was patented in some way? Or?
That time, we did not know anything about patents or anything. So I came to know about patents actually in 2007, 2005. So I didn't know much about patents. Yeah, coming back to the story, yes, I was in my third year. My college professors and my colleagues were very, very helpful. They literally backed me like pillars, and I'm indebted to them. And that's how my journey started in 91. So in 89, my father passed away. That time I was in third year. I finished my graduation, and in 91, I joined full time.
Wow.
So that's how the journey started.
And what was that like when you took over, when you entered the business? Obviously greenhorn, absolutely no idea at what you were joining, but what was that like?
So, before me, hats off to my mother. She was 38. She could have started her life on her own. But she said, no, Manish, I will marry the company. And she did not start her life again. And our factory was as a 1,200 square feet factory in Masgon, Sitafalwadi, with one bathroom, no ladies' bathroom. And we used to stay in Andheri in one bedroom hall. That was our upbringing. And she started going to the factory. So from 89, after my father passed away, I think she started in Jan itself. Till 91, she managed the factories.
Achha.
She used to go to the factory every day, and she started learning. When I joined in 91, I didn't have any place to sit because it was a 1,200 square feet factory,
right,
with an office in small cabin in which my manager and my mother used to sit. So I used to sit with the workers outside.
Achha.
And that was the biggest learning experience of my life.
Please tell us about it. I've heard. I want to really delve into this.
Because I was from Pune, I I knew how to speak Marathi very well. And all our workers were Maharashtrians. And they were in love with my father. So when I came, they wouldn't openly, because they were scared of the manager at that point of time, because he was obviously the karta dharta at that time, because we didn't know anything. They would tell me to wait after 5 o'clock, and they would teach me the formulation and how to make it. And because I was a pharmacist, I understood it very fast. And it just took me 6 months, and I understood the trick of the trade. And so at that time, we had 3 products, Super Vasmol, Silkish shampoo, and Brahmol. It was an oil. So shampoo and oil was easy to make. Super Vasmol was the difficult part.
Okay.
But I managed 1 batch, 2nd batch, 3rd batch, 4th batch. And then I started making it on my own. And one thing led to another, and I mastered the full art of manufacturing. That's how the journey began.
Wow. And after that, how long, were you involved in the sales or just also in the manufacturing?
So, the funny, very important story to this, how I came into sales. I had met Rochelle, my wife, in Pune College. So in 93, we decided to get married, and I was just 24.
Wow.
23 actually, not even 24. And she was 21. And those times we said, let's get married, and we just decided to get married. I knew at that point of time that if we have to grow, we'll have to move out of this small factory,
Right.
and go somewhere big, because the demand of the product was day and day increasing.
Oh, really? Wow.
And it was all organic. We didn't have to go anywhere. And the demand, so we had only 4 distributors, okay? One in Abdul Rahman Street in Bombay, one in Sadar Bazaar in Delhi, one in Calcutta, Bada Bazaar.
Bada Bazaar, yeah.
So there was one distributor out there, and there was one distributor in South. So 4 distributors, or you may call it a super stockist, or whatever you may call them. The demand started increasing. And then somehow Northeast started getting bigger and bigger. When Northeast started getting bigger and bigger, our distributor from Northeast, Mr. Amrit Lal Jain, he was a very close friend of my father. To a very large extent, he and his son were my mentors.
Okay.
For teaching me what sales is. So they told me, Manish, why don't you come and visit the sales? So I said, yes, I will. But they said, but we require more products, and you will not be able to manufacture it in such a small factory. Start a new unit. I said, okay. In 1993, we started our biggest unit, thanks to my grandfather. He had the vision that he had made a factory in MIDC, Andheri.
Okay.
But it was empty. There was nothing. It was raw. So I went there and I said, I want to start the factory here. I went and told my mom and my uncle said, Manish, will you be able to do it? It's such a big factory. You know how it is. These are white elephants. Once you start.
And again, 93 is not the time when people talked about starting factories.
Trust me, I don't want to get there. I'm just trying to be politically correct out here. I said, no, I'll manage. Don't worry, I'll manage. So my wife is a Catholic and I'm a Hindu. So I got married technically twice. So on 17th of November, we got married in the church.
Okay.
So the Catholic rituals and everything. On 18th of November, we went to the factory, me and my wife. My wife had joined the company itself. She was the R&D head because she was also a pharmacist. So she said, I will take care of the laboratories. So at that time, in a pharmaceutical unit, you need to have a laboratory, you need to have a production chemist. So I became the production chemist because I was a pharmacist. So I got the license under my name. She became the quality control head and R&D. So she got the license on her name. So she became the quality control head. And we started manufacturing. It was a 15,000 square feet factory.
Wow.
But we said we will do it in 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
So only one floor, we bought some machines, and those times mostly hand operated. We started out 17th November, we got married. 18th November, we were there in the factory. We made our first batch. And 18th to 24th, we made 4 batches, and then filling of those batches, testing of those
This
batches.
is all Super Vasmol at the time.
All Super Vasmol, only
Okay.
Super Vasmol. And then 24th, we took a break. Then 26th, I got married the Hindu way, the fairas and everything.
So you like, this is the 1 week test to make sure before.
Yeah. So when I tell this to my children and to my friends, they said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah, we got married, and the next day we went to the factory because we had to make the first batch." And that's how the journey started. Actually, that was the turning point, because now the production capacity had increased. We had, the demand was there, supply was not there. Now we had increased the supply. Now we needed to create demand.
Correct.
That prompted me, and in 95, my brother also came in.
Okay. He must have been also 23.
Yeah, so my brother, he finished his graduation. So he said, "Manish, you know what, I'll take care of marketing and the other part of the office. You take care of sales." My mother said she'll take care of operations. And my wife said she'll take care of the laboratory and the quality control and quality assurance.
Wow.
So now the whole family is now one big family, all Chhabras. And my uncle was the conscious keeper. He was, I can go on telling about him. He was a father to me. He actually adopted me and my brother Ashish. I should tell you this, in those times, when my father passed away, my uncle, without a blink, the next day, transferred the full shares of my father to my mother without even blinking an eye. He was so graceful, no questions asked. He said, "Now you are going to be my children and I'm going to take care of you." So that was my uncle. So we were 5 of us in the family, and all doing their own parts and roles. I went to sales. That's the time I went to Northeast for the first time.
A pharmacist that enters sales. This is going to get interesting. Please. Northeast first. Why Northeast? I remember you told me there was a reason why you chose Northeast.
Nobody on the earth at that point of time
Correct.
wanted to go to Northeast or Bihar. I, along with my distributor Sanjeev Jain, we decided that we will tour the full of Northeast. And we took one very small, rugged Maruti car. We should drive on our own. We had those stoves, chawal, dal in the dicky, and some samples, both of us and 2 salesmen. So we should start from Guwahati. We went from one city to other city to other. It was a 30-day tour. And I'm just married, okay?
Yeah.
And I am out. And
I'm going to ask you later that what does it take to get...
And it was just, I was so passionate about it. And, I remember those days we used to go and see, in Northeast, the water is very, it's hard water. So we used to keep the water in the night. And, the iron used to settle down and the water used to come up, and then we should take a bath from that. And staying in one dorm, salesman dorm hota tha, where you get bunk beds. So we used to sleep there, all 4 of us.
Wow.
Take one room, stay in bunk beds, cook our own dal chawal, because Sanjeev Jain was a Jain, so he could not eat non-veg. I could still eat eggs and all, so I was fine. But he could not. And then the journey started. And it was the golden period of our life. I still remember those journeys, 8 hours traveling. Imagine we had traveled Calcutta to Siliguri and by car. It was amazing.
no one was doing this. I remember you chose it because no one would do it.
See, I am not taking names, but all our competitors, their salespeople would not dare to go there.
Correct.
And they had protocols also. So, but for us, there was no protocol because we were the protocol.
Yeah.
We used to decide.
You were the startup, actually.
The startup. We were a startup at that point of time. So, and that's how the journey of sales started. So Northeast became big for us.
I also remember there was a story, Manishji, about how you were delivering something, and again, I want you to tell it, but even the distributor or the person receiving was surprised that you actually landed up there after the area being that I think was a red zone or so of some sort.
Yeah. Actually, those are stories not for a podcast because yes, we really lived a dangerous life, if I can put it. We used to live on the edge all the time.
Acha.
And when once we went to Imphal, and there's a convoy, and there's 6 cars of different company salespeople, and there's a military convoy ahead and a military convoy behind, and then we used to travel all the way to Imphal, go there, do our marketing, do our sales, blah blah.
Oh, so you had to also get the military in. Oh,
Yes,
wow.
and then we used to come back. It's important, Anirudh. I realized that if I would try to do this in Bombay, or if I would have tried to do this in Delhi, or if I would have tried to do that in bigger cities, for me, success would not be so easy because there was competition.
Correct.
There were other multinationals. There were other companies who were doing good. They had a huge infrastructure. They had a proper sales system. We didn't have any sales system. We were just going and selling. Okay, we used to call up Bombay and say, okay, how much goods do you have? They would say, itna maal hamare paas hai. And then we used to make a plan. Okay, now 1,000 cases are there. In this tour, we have to finish 1,000 and take order of another 1,000. And that's how the whole thing used to move.
And to collect cash at that time would have been incredible.
Those times were different, Anirudh. People were honest. Very, very honest. I'm telling you, not that people are not honest today, but I'm saying from honesty from the point of view that in spite of not having, a proper accounting system, but just by a word, okay, I'm sending you 200 cases, the bill is going to come. Will you make the payment? He would say, I will make the payment at this point of time. And vice versa. I would say, I require money now in advance. He would ask for a discount, which we would give. So he would give us the money without even knowing us properly.
Correct. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true.
So it was like both ways. So there was trust everywhere. Business was built on complete trust. And that's how the journey started. So it was good. It was sometimes I sit back and I just, when I'm relaxing and I'm thinking about it, feels very good. Feels very, very
You must really go back thinking, what the things that you have done, right?
It's not only me. I have my own story. My mother has her own stories because she was taking care of operations.
Right.
So she had to scale up everything. My brother had his own stories.
Apparently, I've heard your mother is one of the most aggressive investors in the family.
Oh my good Lord. And then my wife had to cope up with the quality control and ensure that we are sending quality products outside. So that's how the whole this thing went on. And in 97, 98, I remember, is when I met a very good gentleman again through a distributor in UP. UP was also very difficult to go that time, but we used to travel to UP also. And
these were all areas obviously known for lots of law and order.
They were, but again, let's be fair. Those guys were also very receptive when people used to come to them. They used to respect you if you respected them.
Okay.
And that's where I learned the meaning of respect, how you have to deal with distributors. You have to be a part. They are not your distributor. They're a part of your family. So much so that what happened was in 5 years, me and Sanjeev never ate outside. We used to go and stay in our distributor's place, sleep in their homes, have food with them. And that's how the family started growing bigger and bigger. And the word spreads. Because the distributor community is very well connected all across India. And the word spread.
Very different than how people think of distributors today. At least brands, because new brands keep coming up, but they want to keep bombarding distributors versus really thinking of them as partners.
I sometimes feel for the founders now. Our time was different when we were making distributors. Competition was less. The most important part, Anirudh, was during those times till 2005, the retailer and the distributor, they played a very important role in your sale. A lot of your sale would also happen because your distributor was strong and your retailer was strong, because they had an influence on the consumer. The retailer had the influence on the consumer, and he would give the consumer the best. He had the time to explain the product to him. The distributor had the time to think about his ROI and then put your product first, then the other product where he would get more margins. So all our missions were aligned. So times were different. And why I'm telling you all this is that today's founders, why I find them, why I feel for them is because right now if they will go to a retailer, he'll say, I have zillion product like this lying on my shelf.
Correct.
Why should I keep yours? A distributor will say, listen, I don't have the time to, tell the people who come to me, okay, take this product or do this. Because everybody is giving me the same margin. Now it is all about ROI and, so they will not support you the way.
It's all about ROI and how something moves fast.
Exactly, and moves fast. So now they'll say, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai.
Haan.
In our times, when we started our selling system, that time it was much more easier. And I feel for the founders now.
Really? Wow.
I feel for them.
And so 98, 99, I think the business starts getting some bit of scale, right? And now you're really starting to grow. And then 2000s obviously comes up.
Yes.
What was the first thing you were thinking about when you hit the new millennium as far as your business was concerned?
See, in 2000, we had grown. We had also matured. We had understood the importance of systems, processes. Our roles were getting more and more defined. Good people were coming in the system. Now Manish was no more a salesman. I had time to sit back and probably work as a GM at that point of time. So there's a salesman, there's an SO, there's an ASM, there's an RSM, and there's a GSM.
And you created this entire ecosystem.
Yeah, obviously, I had a lot of help from my colleagues who joined me. So the first person who joined me was SO of some other big company.
Okay.
So he told me what SO works. So now I understood what SO is.
And SO stands for?
Sales officer.
Sales officer. Okay.
And then it became ASM, the area sales manager. So now every state has an area sales manager. Now above them, the zonal sales manager. So at every given time, I started moving from SR to SO to ASM to RSM. And then finally I became the GM, if you have to understand the whole hierarchy. And now I did not have to actually all the time go and do retailing. Before I used to do retailing.
I mean, you were the sales guy and the GM.
And the GM.
Correct.
And now I had salespeople. There's a full hierarchy system, which was, the credit goes to one Mr. H.N. Singh, who joined me in 98. And he was from ex-Kevin Care. So he had a lot of knowledge in sales system. So he developed the whole sales system for us. He told us, for how many SRs there should be an SO, for how many SO there should be an ASM. And, and then the whole pipeline started getting developed, and the sales system became bigger. And when you have a proper sales system, standard operating procedures were put into place.
But was it easy for you to hand things over to Mr. Singh, or how did he actually convince you to hand things over to him in terms of creating the system?
No, Anirudh, one thing is that I was very quick to realize, okay, now I require fresh brains and my knowledge is limited. See, one thing which I would, like to tell all our listeners is that know your limitations and always get a person who's much smarter and intelligent than you to run your operations or whichever department you want. The only thing as an entrepreneur, what you have done is because you have run it for some period of time, you know what the right questions to be asked. So as you grow, it's not about you always doing that thing, but you should know what are the questions which you should ask your direct report or your DR. So that, once you know those things, and that can only happen if you have done it.
Yep.
Even if it is for a month or even it is for 2 months or 3 months. But if you have been there, done that, you have faced the nuances of those small things. So giving power was never issue in my mind. I've kept on giving power, not because there was a fear of giving away power. It was always because that was the right thing to do. HN Singh was the right thing to do. He had to become the GM. And I had to move up because now I had to think about other things which the company needed to grow. See, when we
how many people were there? Sorry, it was about.
So I started with, we were 20 people together. Today we are 2,000 plus.
Wow.
So yes, it's a journey. And
I believe profitable almost all the way throughout.
100%.
Yeah.
100% profitable. There was never a time. God has been kind to us. My uncle, one of the biggest quality of my uncle, who was the chairperson and we used to all, look upon to him and ask him for an approval for whatever we did. He never said a no to whatever we said.
Acha.
He would only ask us one question, and in different ways he would ask that if this fails, what will happen? If that fails, what will happen? If this fails, what will happen? What is your plan B? What is your plan C? And it all ended to one simple question: how much money are you going to lose if these things go south?
Wow.
And then he would calculate and say, okay, fine. If you lose this, we will still be profitable. Doesn't matter. Go ahead and do it. And that confidence which he gave into us, me and Ashish both, it was tremendous. That was the help which helped us to grow. So, that's how family businesses grow, where there is complete transparency, roles are very clear, and you respect everybody's authority. So we have never done anything without asking our uncle. Never. We needed an approval.
Even though the shareholding was obviously...
It doesn't matter. It was, he's the head of the family.
Right.
He needs to be asked. And we will ask.
And it's a very unique dynamic to manage. You're managing a fast-growing startup. Almost every single senior person is a family member.
Yeah.
So boardroom, living room, dining room. Sometimes the same room.
Yes, we had.
And sometimes maybe in the bedroom because the wife is also.
Yeah, in my case that was there. But it was interesting. But I think the values with which a family was built up.
But would you all do quarterly board meetings? How would you manage the reporting structure, considering there's so many stakeholders who are all also in the business?
So at different levels there were different things. Till 2015, we didn't have any external investor in the
That's
company.
true.
So we had, the family was there, and I keep on repeating again. In 2007, when the family decided, okay, now you need an MD CEO, and they made me the MD CEO of the company. They said, now the ball stops at you. You are responsible for everything. They told Ashish, you are, the joint MD, and you have to take care of marketing. That the ball stops at you. They told my mom that operations is your responsibility. That's where it stops. They told Rochelle that new product development, quality control, quality assurance is all your responsibility.
Wow.
And so we all had our own responsibilities. We all knew what we were supposed to do. And there was no scope for anybody of us to falter. And if we falter, then we would sit in the room and say, okay, fine, this is what happened. And we would reason it out. Obviously, everybody made mistakes.
Yeah, and I'm sure that not always was it rational to speak without emotion, but
emotions always come out.
Correct.
Always. They always come out, But when you have elders in your family who are, guiding you and ensuring you that we will work together, we live together. Now they say the family that eats together lives together.
Yeah, that's true.
Family that prays together
Stays together. Yeah.
So we kept those simple things clean. We used to have dinners together. We used to pray together. So all those things kept us together.
And then something unique happened at some point, because Vasmol and all the legacy products were doing well, but somewhere Streax comes out of some place, and that was a real money spinner for you.
Yes, it was. There's a wonderful story behind Streax, and also behind Vasmol.
Yeah.
I should mention to you about Vasmol. In 2001, 2002, KBC came in 2001, 2002.
Yeah, I think 2001. Yeah.
So whenever KBC came in, that time we had just got a new agency on board called Situations. It was led by one wonderful gentleman called Anjan Chatterjee.
Okay.
So he said, we'll make this film, and he made this wonderful film of Super Vasmol 33 Kesh Kala, and it said, Surakshit Kale Mere Baal, Vasmol ne kiya kamal. That was the jingle.
Oh yeah, I remember the jingle. Yeah.
So that was Anjan Chatterjee. So he came out with that jingle, and I remember that day very, very correctly. I was in Union Bank of India asking for the CC limit, and that time we used to get CC limit on stock, bill discounting, and all that stuff. So we were doing all that. We wanted to increase our CC limit, and this guy, meets me in the evening, and I'm the CC limit is not yet passed, or it's in process. And I meet Anjan, and he said, Manish, 65 lakhs. I said, what 65 lakhs? And I had never heard about 65 lakhs. He said, KBC आ रहा है, हमको उसमें एडवर्टाइजमेंट करना है. मैं बोला KBC आ रहा है, क्या है ये KBC? I did not know what KBC was. He said, नहीं, this is going to be the big thing, Star Plus, ये करना है, ये da.
This is Amitabh's comeback at that time.
Yeah. I said, okay, fine. My brother was very excited. He said, Manish, करना ये. You go and talk to Chacha. I said, okay.
करना सबको है.
तुम जाके बात करो. I said, okay. I went to Subhash ji and I said, Chacha, ये ऐसा आया है. Quietly listening. And that time, till then, we were only doing cable TV, ATN, news channels, those kind of low budgeted advertisements and all. 60 lakhs, 1 crore, हम 2 crore खर्चा करते होंगे पूरे साल में. और यहाँ पे अंजन जी बोल रहे हैं 60 लाख खर्चा करो एक कैंपेन पे 3 महीने में. एंड ही सेड, पता है 60 लाख कितने होते हैं, कितने का स्पॉट आएगा? एंड आई गेव हिम सम नंबर. देन ही सेड, जंप मारो 30 सेकंड, मारो. And I am looking at him. He said, jump. And I also jumped 30 seconds. He said, गया 3 लाख. देखा, तुम 30 सेकंड जंप मारा और तुम्हारा इतना पैसा चला गया. नहीं चला तो कंपनी का ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. I let him sleep over it for one day. Went back again. हाँ ठीक है, सोचते हैं. Went back again. Now he knew I am not going to
let go
of it. He also knew without his approval we are not going to go ahead, because that's the thing which we always follow. Till you don't tell me yes, I will not do it. And that is the rule which we have followed till now. Till we don't get an approval from the elders that we have to do something, we don't do it. So then I told my brother and everybody, chalo, hum together we'll go and convince him. And then we told Anjan. So he got convinced. And then we played that ad. And I'm telling you, 100 crores happened then.
Wow.
Super Vasmol jumped in 1 year from, I think so, 40-50 crores to straight 80 crores. It was a 100% jump. The power of media, the power of right communication. Surakshit Kale Mere Baal, Vasmol ne kiya kamal. And I can tell you, it was an amazing story.
And 80 crores in 2001.
No, 60 lakhs. 60 lakhs for one campaign.
I'm saying revenue, 80 crores at that time. We're talking probably close to almost, I would say close to 1,500, 2,000 crores at this point. Probably higher.
This year we touch around 1,100.
No, I'm saying in comparison, rupee to rupee.
Yeah. That time it was too good.
Yeah.
So we were really lucky, and that happened. And then Vasmol was growing, and we reached 100 crores. That's the time when colors started coming in India, and that's the time when the media explosion happened. ZTV came in, Sony TV came in, Star Plus came in. and people started moving to satellite channels, and serials started coming out.
Yeah.
And we started moving from the Hum Logs of the world to the
Kyunki-
Saas Bhi Kabhi
yeah.
Bahu and all those serials. And you started seeing girls wearing good colors on their hair, burgundy. Okay, not blonde, but they had started going from black to soft
Light.
black, light brown, burgundy. So Vasmol had that limitation. Vasmol can only do black. It cannot go to burgundy and it cannot go to different shades. So I said, now colors banane hai. Now I went to Rochelle and I went to my R&D team and said, we have to make colors. They said, we have been trying from a long time, but somehow we are not been able to crack it. We require the base formulation for that. I said, okay, what to do? Again, I went to Mr. Sanjeev Jain and I told him colors banane. He said, yes, karna hai. And both of us said, okay, fine. And we made our company presentation and I took French lessons. And I understood that I want colored hair and all those, the basic lingo I learned. And we contacted one guy in Paris and we said, we are coming. You take us to all the color manufacturers in Italy and France. And without knowing anything, we didn't know anything. We just left, both of us, moving from one factory to the other factory to the other factory and asking them, okay, we want to make colors. Now they are saying, yes, 100%, like red carpet welcome. But we will give you tubes.
You sell them.
You take it back to India. You label it the way you want and you sell it. Now that was the simplest thing to do. It is like, third-party manufacturing.
Correct. Exactly.
Contract manufacturing. I was very clear. No, I want the formulation. I said, no, I am ready to pay. Let's get into a technical collaboration. I don't want to get into the third-party manufacturing.
I just want to be a purchaser. I want to manufacture.
I want to manufacture. They did not listen. Well, okay, fine. Interest, not interest. And then from there, I came back to India and I was speaking to a few pharmacist friends of mine in the US. And they said, yahan pe you get a lot of consultants who will help you make the formulation. I said, acha, aisa hota hai? Chalo, chalte hain. US. And that flight was, I don't know, 38 hour Bombay, Singapore, somewhere, Houston to, it was Sykeston. I reached Sykeston, where my friend was there. Because I had to go to, I didn't know how to drive at that point of time, was scared of driving abroad.
Yeah,
so I needed somebody,
US.
some base. So I called up my friend and said, I'm coming and staying with you and you have to help me. He said, yeah, come. So I went there and me and my wife, both, we went. And we reached Sykeston. And there, sending mails, the MNS was there. घूमता था. सबको mail भेज रहे थे consultants को. Met 1, met 2, met 3. Nobody is responding. कौन है ये India से बंदा? Nobody is, wanting to chat. Nobody is responding nicely. One fine day I get a response from a guy from Chicago. So I told Devang, my friend, how far is Chicago from Sykeston? He said, 10-12 घंटा लगेंगे. We'll go.
Acha, he came with you. Wow.
And we drove all the way to Chicago. And that journey was also very interesting. We got caught by cops and all that stuff happened. That's a different story. And we reached to the gentleman's place. He was very helpful. I had made a presentation, so he was very impressed and come back to India. Rochelle, Ajit, they were the two boys, and one Mr. Desai was there. Who was, helping in productions, helping my mom actually. He was also a very big asset to the company. He helped us set up a lot of factories and systems and processes on the operation side, like how HN Singh set up in sales, he set up in operations. And I told them banana hai. So they made the formula. Done. Deal. Product made. And we did a conference in retreat. First time 5-star hotel retreat. called all the distributors, very, very happy. And, in retreat, there is this, in the swimming pool, there is this, some sort of a bridge.
Yeah.
So we made a pulley where the Streax carton will come up, and the big Streax carton coming up and clapping and shouting and everybody's excited. Wow, color aa gaya. Then we had brought one technician who did the demonstration in front of everybody. Everybody's coming and touching. Arey tumne bana liya, color ban gaya. Everybody's very happy. And we said, ये launch करना है and order do. That time the system was order do. Excitement. People are giving orders. And now we have to tell this side, now you have to start manufacturing. And then the party starts in the night. Then there were around 20 distributors and they said, आपसे बात करनी है. क्या हो गया? And we went to them. ये Streax नहीं चलेगा. I said, no, what is this? No, आप गलती कर रहे हो बहुत बड़ा लाइफ में. मैं बोला क्या गलती कर रहा हूँ भैया बताओ. बोला ये Streax किसको बोलने ही नहीं आता है. कोई Streax बोलेगा, कोई Strokes बोलेगा, कोई ये बोलेगा. ये एक अंग्रेजी नाम है. Vasmol is the right name. हम इसको Vasmol में जाते हैं. Vasmol दुनिया जानती है और हम इसको Vasmol के अंदर ही निकालते हैं. Vasmol colors. Now, I was actually convinced, okay?
I honestly listening to it, I'm actually a bit convinced कि Vasmol colors does sound very interesting.
Yeah, I said कि करेंगे. And Anjan, I went and told Anjan. And he shouted at me like, are you crazy? Do you understand what do you mean by branding? Do you understand where you can extend your brand? Vasmol is heritage, traditional, oil. This is modern. This is color. You have to understand, Manish. That's the time when I started actually understanding M of marketing and B of branding. Till that time, I was a salesperson.
Wow.
I realized, okay, this is what it means. And it just took him 5 minutes for him to, explain to me and Ashish. Ashish was on the other camp, actually. Ashish also wanted Streax. And then I went and told the distributors, nahi, ye to Streax bol ke aayega. Sir, fail ho jayega, aap try kar lo, ye hai, banana dikhana, all that stuff. Then he came and he said, Anjan said, acha, again, whenever Anjan come like baat karni hai, oh shit, ye kuch naya kharcha ka kaim leke aaya. He said, celebrity lenge. Bola, celebrity? नहीं celebrity. Colors है, celebrity होनी चाहिए. Then Ashish is telling me, Manish, celebrity तो चाहिए है. Now Ashish and Anjan is one camp. I am myself
in the middle camp, and then there is your uncle.
There is others. We'll take Malaika Arora. Malaika Arora, I did not even know the name. We had heard about heroines, but we didn't know about Malaika Arora at that point of time.
I think Chaiya just she was famous for that.
Yeah, but she was not like,
she's not a mainstream heroine.
Not a mainstream heroine.
Yeah.
And nahi. She is perfect for colors. So, okay, go ahead, do it. So, film was made. As luck would have, God was so kind. Came Nach Bali. Malaika Arora was the judge.
Wow.
And we bombarded that episode, that season, with this particular film. And Streax became Streax. The power of media and the power of right communication.
And doing it at the right time.
Doing it at the right time. Why I'm repeating all this is that, people, founders should understand. It's not only about media, it's also about the right communication. And that time our, the thing was color bhi, care bhi. Means you are doing color. And this Streax is not only coloring your hair, but it is also taking care of your hair. And that's how Streax was born.
Wow.
Then it was history. And then one thing led to another.
You also had a very differentiated marketing strategy, distribution strategy around this. You didn't do the traditional distributors. I remember that Streax was actually found mostly at salons.
Okay, let me explain this to you, Anirudh. See, HRI is basically Vasmol, which is the Bharat consumer, traditional heritage, believes in naturalness, and there is a strong consumer who believes in that particular company product. Rochelle had also made a product called Kali Mendi, which is Vasmol Kali Mendi. By the way, nobody knows, but it's a 100 crore brand today.
Wow.
Now
What is the difference between this and...
It's a powder.
Okay.
So you have to mix it in water and apply. Separate category, different clientele, completely rural, 10 rupees sachet, still at 10 rupees. We started at 5 actually. Now it has gone to 10. So that was a different era. So Vasmol is doing that. Streax is doing colors. So now Streax is retail. One day, again, me and Rochelle, we were invited for a marriage, and we went to a hotel, which was the 5-star hotel. And that time, going to 5-star hotel was very, very, very excited to go. So we went for that. It was a morning, afternoon, evening, full day event. And we enter there, and I see a lot of salon people out there. And I asked Rochelle, what is this salon people doing out here? And this is 2007, around 2007, 2008. Then she said कि यहाँ पे ना makeup का class चल रहा है.
अच्छा.
There's a seminar which is going on. And we entered that seminar. We took a badge, pura salon ban ke we entered. And
you had not registered, you just entered.
I can do anything.
No, I believe I just want the audience to remember what happened.
Yeah. So I just entered. And when I entered, I saw so many salon people with notes, writing and everything. And then I realized, oh my good Lord, this is another channel which we are missing. Because most of the colors were used in the salons.
Correct.
Okay, people do DIY, but they also go to salons. Because, if you need a different shade, like normal black, normal burgundy, you can do it at home. But if you want shade on shade, if you want different kind of colors, if you want to mix, if you have salt and pepper hair, the technician needs to mix two colors so as to ensure that the grays are also hidden and the new color also come. Now, if you want to go as low as blonde, so it's very technical in nature. The salon fraternity does a great job in ensuring that your hair comes out the way you want, and it requires education. And that's how we said, okay, if we have to cater to this market, we have to come out with a new brand.
Okay.
And that's how Streax Professional was born.
I see.
And that's the time we told Rochelle, now you leave R&D and you have done enough QC R&D. Now you take the charge of Streax Professional division.
Acha.
So then she became the head of Streax Professional division. I was taking care of full sales. Ashish now started taking care of the whole marketing gambit, whatever the designing, the artworks, and the creatives and all that was his. And mom was taking care of operations, and uncle was the guiding force, guiding us all to do the right thing at the right time, asking us the right questions every quarter, and ensuring that we are not losing even one pie.
Wow.
And that's how Streax Professional was
It's
born.
so rare to see it all come together like this.
Yeah. It all, I'm telling you, God has been kind to us.
So from after that learning from the seminar, like I believe you certainly were very focused on getting out to a market that is underserved, because most people don't think salon first.
Yeah.
Especially 2009, 8, 7, 8, 9.
So what happened was, so today also there is a lower end of salons, then there is the medium end of salons, and then there is the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
So all the training was happening at the creme de la creme. This part, there was nobody to train. So our team went on going to all these salons, calling them for seminars, and they would come because they were hungry for knowledge.
Wow.
And Anirudh, we never sold colors.
Acha.
Never in the salon, in the seminars. What we told them was, we used to teach cutting. different type of hair cutting, different type of hairstyling. The idea was that you have to create value for your stakeholder. Once you create value for him, then you mean something to him.
Correct.
So I keep on telling whenever I meet new founder, I say, okay, what is the value which you are creating for your channel partner, whether it is a buyer or a seller, it doesn't matter. Whether it's a vendor or whether it is a distributor or whether it's a salesman or it's your end consumer. What is that value you are creating for him? If you are able to genuinely create value for him, he will create value for you. If you want to sell something, then it's transactional.
Yep. But make them buy.
Okay, but again, you have to make him genuinely bring value in him. It's not, see, people are intelligent now. And today there's a world of social media. You just type one thing and you come to know 100 different options. So you can't, cheat your consumer. You cannot cheat anybody today because there is a lot of knowledge there in this cloud, which you can, take advantage of. So be true to whatever you do, create value for your people, your consumers, your stakeholders, and that in turn will create value for you.
Very
That's how
interesting.
it works.
So what the idea was now to obviously hit up these salons and get these people to be trained.
Yes.
Were you charging for these classes or
No, initially no.
Okay.
But as we moved on, we realized that now, if you don't charge, the salon person will send the third person, the third technician, or किसी को भेज दिया.
Because they also believe कि free में है तो शायद value नहीं.
फ्री में है तो and 5-star होटल में सेमिनार हो रहा है, तुमको ब्रेकफास्ट भी मिल रहा है, लंच भी मिल रहा है, सर्टिफिकेट भी मिल रहा है, सब कुछ मिल रहा है. So they would send anybody. But then when we started charging, the right people came. Obviously, we used to give them back a lot in goodies, which was equivalent to the particular.
Which
money.
is okay.
But we wanted them to invest first and then give it back.
Perfect.
That's how the whole. And
usually how much would you charge for like a day?
so it depends. So it's either on sale of products that you buy 3,000 worth of products and then you get this entry pass,
Oh, interesting.
or you pay 2,000 rupees, 2,500 depending on the scale of the seminar. You come and then you will get
You get at whatever, maybe 3,000 rupees worth of
3,000
product.
worth of products or something of that sort. But you invest first. That's just to ensure
How
that the right
many
people come in.
points of sale at salons were you at? Let's say, were you tracked?
So today we cater to 40,000 salons.
Wow. How many are there in India, by the way?
There are many. There are different.
But let's say the medium to large.
So there are more than 100,000 salons.
Wow.
We cater to 40,000 salons directly. We train more than 100,000 salon technicians every year.
100,000. Wow.
Yes,
sorry, the seminars are still on.
100% on.
Or-
Education is a continual process.
Wow.
You cannot stop education. See, trends are changing, designs are changing, hair designs are changing, the way people cut hair is changing, new and new technicians are coming in. So we always get, foreign technicians, key opinion leaders. So there's an Olympiad of, like you have Olympics, there's an Olympiad of salon professionals.
Wow.
And they all culminate in Paris Fashion Week. So Streax has been taking, from last 2 years, the winners of India through our, hair competition to Paris to attend the Paris Fashion Week.
Wow.
So it's a very, very organized, setup.
Incredible. Wow.
Very, very organized setup.
100,000 professionals. And if I get it correct, because one of the first products and their learnings has obviously come from Streax.
Yeah.
There is almost an imprinting on them very early.
Yes.
That Streax is.
See, what happens is, entering a salon is very difficult, but it is very sticky. See, unlike any other DIY product, the result may come later. But in hair colors, in 30 minutes, you know whether the product has worked or it has not worked. If it has not worked, you will never pick it up again. Now for the salons again, they have, typically a salon is a 4-seat, 5-seat salon. They have around 1,000 footfalls in a month. because beyond that they also cannot go
Cater,
and
yeah.
cater, because they have limited time, 8 hours or 10 hours a day. Only they can only cater to those many customers. When those customers come in, even if they lose one customer,
That's a
it's a loss for them. So they are very, very picky, very, very touchy, very, very careful of the products which they use in their salons. So education is continual. We keep on educating them, and obviously we also come out with newer products. Like now we came out with Botox, hair Botox.
hair Botox.
Yeah. So so now it requires training. It's a 4-hour procedure which girls go and do, and to straighten their hair completely. So that requires training. So it is complete education all the time. Seminars, education, seminars, education, seminars, education.
Wow. So Streax comes out 2007, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Takes off, obviously. And then at some point, and about 2008, you became MD CEO. Ashish ji became joint MD and then marketing head. And then about 5 or 6 years later, obviously it was announced in 2015, but I'm sure the decision was made at some point. We need to bring in a private equity investor. How did that happen? Or were you being bombarded with offers all the way through and you just decided to act on one?
So, the biggest problem HRIPL was facing at that point of time was attracting right talent. I used to interview a lot of people. They would come, they would feel fascinated by the story, our journey, and then they would not join because it was like a family business. They were not very sure. They were all professionals coming from big company, because now the time had come in 2007-8 that we required people with experience and from the similar industry to come and join in. Till such time, we were not choosy. Whoever was ready to work, showed the zeal, had the whether he had the skill set or not didn't matter to me. The only thing which mattered to me was that whether he is ready to take the plunge.
The attitude mattered more.
The attitude was there, but skill set was, yes, basic, obviously, yes. But not like, you have to be there to get this job. But in 2007-8, again, I realized that, now if this division has to grow, or if any division has to grow, whether it is operations, R&D, marketing, we'll require specific skill sets. We'll require a person with a proper brand manager who has done branding. We'll require a R&D head who has done research in big companies. We'll require a good CFO to come in who has been in account. Now those, we cannot go along with the same set of people by which, what got you from there to here is not going to take you from here to there. It's very simple saying. So
there's a book, I think, there's the same name.
Yeah. So I realized that, and I said, now change is required. We require people, and good people with right skill sets. And when that thought was going on in my mind, an advertisement came in Times of India, MDP program in IIM. I said, best place to go. I'll meet a good cohort, all people, and I saw who all are going to come. Not the names, but the positions who will come. I said, best place to go. Recruit. Only one agenda, recruit.
You went to the MDP program to recruit. Just your recruiting and marketing. I just love this for the sales techniques being utilized.
Yeah, recruit. I enter and like a honcho, like complete suit would pen ke I am entering the IIM class and all. Biju Varki is taking at 5 o'clock. He's giving his lecture, and in his hoarse voice he says that if you have come here to find any solution, you're not going to get one. I said, we don't give solutions. We teach you how to think. Correct, right. And if you have come here to recruit, out of this. I said, is this guy reading my mind? What am I doing? But anyway, I was there. So I said, अभी आए हैं तो पढ़ लेते हैं. And those 9 days were the best days of my life. I learned so much. I forgot everything. I forgot HRIPL. I forgot everything. I just became a student. Teacher, student. and learnt and learnt and learnt and learnt. First time I had a case study in my mind. Okay, this is the case study. Okay, da 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 da. Okay, this is how case studies are done. And I used to, and anyway, the MDP program are very, very intense. They keep you awake till like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the night. In the morning, you have to make presentations and so on and so forth. It was an amazing, and 9 days, I don't know how 9 days passed away. And I came back and I told Rochelle, I found the answer. Bola, what is the answer? Bola, we will also take our people to IIM. I said, what? I said, yes. If people don't want to join us, it's okay. I will take our people to IIM. And I wrote our case study from where I started. And I sent it to Biju Varke and Professor Sinha and told him, this is my case study. I want you to teach my people how to become good managers. I said, okay, done. They called me to Ahmedabad. I went to Ahmedabad. They told me, choose whatever, 30, 40 people, 20, whatever you want from your team. I pick and choose HR, production, operations, supply chain, sales. From every division, we took 2 to 3 people, CFO, mom, my mother, Ashish, Rochelle, myself, everybody. And we went to IIM. They made a full program for us, a full immersive program, which was for 6 months.
Wow.
It was obviously, divided into weekends and 2 weekends and teaching, coming back, teaching, coming back, teaching, coming back. We all go there on the first day, 30 people, everybody excited, IIM ja rahe padhne ke liye. I go and they tell me, abhi ho gaya, very good Manish, you go back. I said, what do you mean go back? Bola, no, you are not a part of this program at all. Bola, I said, why? Bola, no, you cannot be a part of this program. One thing which we have learned is that these people are too dependent on you. If I'm teaching everything, if I'm asking them a question, the first thing they will do is they will look at you and see whether they are giving the right answer or not. We don't want you in the room. We want them to be free. And I was sent out. So I didn't attend that program.
Wow.
All other team members attended that program.
And you had no idea, like...
I had no idea. I could hear chitter chatter when they used to come back and all, kya hua, kya hua, wahan pe kya seekha and all that stuff. I used to ask them. And they would laugh. And they were happy that I am not there.
वरना free time में काम नहीं करना पड़ता.
And after 3-4 months, they told me, you come, Manish. Come. Today, the last day. Then they said they will do the last 2 days. And we didn't know what was happening in the last 2 days. Baki, everything was set, Case studies were coming, people were studying and they were answering and all that stuff was happening. Like a proper MDP program, but for HRI, for our people. And then in the last 2 days when we went, I was also called. And they said, now you will be an observer, you are not going to take part. And there was a case study which was given to everybody. And in the morning, 6 o'clock, they were told to come. And the case study was such that these guys had to stay awake the full night. And 6 o'clock in the morning, they made the team write the mission and vision statement and mission statement and values of the company, which is today still there.
Wow.
So it was bottom up. The vision statement was made by the HRIPL team. The values were made by them. And those values are still there in the company. That vision is still there in the company. And that's how the journey began.
Wow. And that must have been
2010-11. Yeah. So that was one changing point in everybody's outlook towards HRIPL internally. Everybody started taking HRIPL more seriously, that it is not just buy, sell, target achievement, target not achievement. There is some vision. Okay, there was a vision before also. But
founder driven tha.
Yeah. Now it was structured. a very structured vision was made. And one of the last statement was, we'll spread happiness across the globe, but passionately. Because they saw that passion is something which drives HRIPL.
Correct.
And then they said, let's do it now. And that's how my outlook changed. And at that point of time, the question which you asked was about, obviously interest had started coming in. We had crossed 240, 260, 280. We were there. Bankers are coming in. Valuations they started coming up. P deals were happening. I would hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, iska ye valuation. This is going at that. This is going at that.
Flipkart was sort of just starting to emerge.
So everybody, things were happening. In that, 2010 to 15, a lot of PE investments happened. A lot of startups started coming up. And, I started hearing about all these things. Again, I went back to the family and said, ye karna hai. They said, why? What joy.
Yeah, and you're making money.
Making money.
Unlike the others.
Unlike the others, you are making money. Aren't you happy? I said, no. We have to do it. So, my uncle and my mom were not very happy
Acha.
with what we were doing because they could see what me and Ashish and Rochelle could not see. They knew that once we enter in this journey, it's a one-way street. Because if you get an investor in your company, you have to give him an exit.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, and people need to remember. Founders need to remember that.
Need to remember that.
Yeah.
So it's not, a pot of gold which you made at that point of time. The story doesn't end there.
Yeah.
The story actually begins there.
Correct. It's a whole new journey.
So our call for action was, 2-3-fold. It was a mixed. One was I also wanted to monetize, some part for the family. Because we had never, we were 250 crores, but we did not have money. Because everything was going back in the business, From, one factory in Andheri, MIDC, we had now 2 factories in Guwahati, 2 factories in Himachal Pradesh, 1 factory in Bangladesh. We had a huge sales team. We had a very wonderful office. So now, everything was happening because we were all putting everything back in the business. We had made Vasmol, we had made Streax, we had made Streax Professional. In between, we had launched many products, which we lost money. So all those things happened. So, it's not that everything we touched
Became gold.
gold. No, it never happens that way. We can talk 1 hour of telling you what mistakes I have made and how much money we have lost in, trying to create new brands. It doesn't happen that easily. Not everything what you do works for you.
Compared to the number of brands that HRIPL now has that are successful, how many do you think that just died?
Yeah, so I will come to that. At that time we said, okay, we have to do that. So interest was coming in from outside.
Unsolicited. They were chasing you.
And they were chasing.
So this proves the point, Manish ji, that if you chase the customer, the VCs will chase you.
100%. So I keep on telling, don't make your company to sell. Build a company that can be bought.
Wow, I love that statement. Build a company that can be bought.
People should come to buy you. If you are there to sell, then your call for action is only wrong. We never in our life thought that we will liquidate or we will sell our stake to somebody. That was never in our mind. Valuation is an outcome. It was not the destination.
Right.
So anyway, we started doing a process. A lot of interest came in, and finally, Premji Invest. We found that our cultures match. We should go with them. So call for action was 2. One was obviously monetization for the family. I told my uncle, you have worked so hard in life. you need to enjoy something.
24 years almost
Yeah,
since.
you have to enjoy something. You have to enjoy. I told my mom, when was the last time when you actually went and bought something for yourself? Never. We are still, staying in a very, very limited resource and all. I think little bit we should do. They said, no, money will corrupt, blah, 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 blah. All those gyan was given to us. We said, don't worry. Your values are there. We are not here going to take that money and go out and, start splurging. So anyway, we did monetize. And the second call for action was, I knew that now we will require a governing board. I will require somebody. As I told you, at every given time, I knew where my limitation comes in.
Correct.
Now I knew if I have to lead as an MD CEO, I myself will require a lot of guidance from people. I will myself require governance because now one mistake and the loss is going to be big.
Right.
And I can't do that. There are so many people, so many families who are dependent. HRIPL is a family. My one rash decision, one mistake can ruin so many lives.
So true.
I can't do that. I am responsible for that worker who started with his journey with me. I am responsible for the person who comes and gives me the tea. He smiles. And if I make a rash decision, and if I am not having that right smile on my face, is he going to smile? No. I have to take care of everybody. And if I have to take care of everybody, I have to be governed. And that was the call for action for me personally. And exactly that is what happened. Premji Invest came in 3 strong board members. We got Milind Sarvate, he was ex-CFO of Marico. We got Harsh Bahadur, he was Hindustan Lever, ex-person, he had run Fair and Lovely. We got 3 good board members from Premji Invest. Along with them came Sushir Kumar, he as an independent director. If I don't know, he was the one who aligned all the family members in this value creation event. And with him being on the board, it was ensured that the moral compass of all the stakeholders never changed. It was a great journey from there on. And now the boardroom had changed. Now we had sold very minority stake to them, but now every quarter, every month we are answerable. Before it was, I would tell uncle, okay, we lost money, ye quarter hua nahi. He would say, okay, fine, don't go back home, slap yourself and go to sleep. Now, no. Now you are answerable because now you have taken outside money. And I wanted that to happen. They came in with a lot of ideas, thought processes. So to answer your question, at that point of time, just before Premji Invest came in, we had come out with a deodorant product. And we had spent around, if I'm not wrong, around 40-50 crores in making that brand. And
wow.
And it was doing around 30 crores of sale. Annually. They came in and they said, first thing they said, we will stop this. And I said, Baba, I have spent 50 crores, 50 crores, whatever the amount was. No, don't worry. We have to be focused. We are a hair company. We will live in this zone. So brand architecture was made. I said, okay, now brand architecture is being made. I did not know what a brand architecture was. So all those things, those things keep, and I'm so thankful to them that all those processes came in place. And we stopped the deal, okay? One day, cut. Jitna stock tha, bech diya, story khatam. And they, oh yeah, we just stopped because we said no. They said, listen, let's concentrate on hair. We will go back to DO at some point of time. But right now you can't, you have limited money. There's a bandwidth issue of the sales team. You have to ensure that you use your time of your sales team, your operations, your supply chain, everybody in a proper manner. You cannot just keep on, extending just because वो बिकता है तो आप वो product निकाल लो. It doesn't work that way. what is the scalability? What are you going to do next? And if you do this, how many other different things you can do
True.
under Streax? And that's what happened. We closed DO, we started Streax Serum. Those kind of great, intelligent thoughts, ideas came on the board. Profitability became, we were doing around 5 to 6% EBITDA before they came in. Now we are doing 15% plus
And growing.
and growing.
Maniji, I think because we both sit on the board of a company together, so I'll also bring that perspective. And today I feel the expectation is the board member should agree with whatever the founder does, and it's almost become an echo chamber. He says yes or she says yes, and everybody says yes. Right? You now are seeing all the issues come out, whether it is, whether it was the recent EV saga or
Yeah. Okay. So let me put it this way.
So to be blunt, like what do you think? How do you think you utilized your board versus how founders are misutilizing their board?
Okay, there are always different kind of founders. Let's talk about a good, intelligent, fair founder, how he should use his board.
Perfect. It's
There
very,
will
very
be-
critical.
There will be rogues,
Yeah.
and there will be rotten apples, but let's not
And to-
exceptions. Let's not judge the whole startup founder community by exceptions.
And I'll also say it on the other side, there'll be brilliant founders who don't need a board.
Yes,
They themselves have an ecosystem that they can do it, but they need a board just because of the investor. But I think let's leave out the top 5% and let's leave out the bottom 20. But that 75% in between, I think that is the one we're talking about, because they should be leveraging the board from whom they've taken money. And if you've only taken money for money, you see, you took money from a very right source. And you took money where the 1 rupee was worth 2 rupees or 5 rupees. You may even say it was worth 10 rupees. And you're seeing the results. And that's what I'm trying to get at, right? If you could just share, and for someone like you didn't come, not Harvard educated, 9 days MDP program, right? We're not talking here like we've been taught how to use a board. You literally have said, listen, I need this because if I want to go from here to there, I need this.
Yes.
And then how did you utilize the board, and how do you see, because you invested in other companies, you're also invested in funds that are invested in other companies. How do you think founders are missing a very critical resource, right? And if you could just give us some perspective there.
Okay, you know what? Let me give you both perspectives.
Please.
And let me start with my example, because there is no other way I
And
can
that's what I want to-
explain
correct.
How I felt. Now, when I first entered into angel investing and investing into startups, I was very strict on EBITDA, very strict on profitability. I would not allow the founder to go rogue. I would tell him, no, limited budget, only do this much, only do that much. And that journey happened for 1.5, 2 years, okay? And I'll be honest with you, Anirudh, I also realized that I was being a little too harsh and too strict on those founders. And they were actually following what I was telling to do. Okay, let me give you an example. I will not take names. So I invested in 4 startups. 2 of them actually listened to me and said, no, we will follow exactly what you are saying. We understand the importance of cash. We understand the importance of profitability. So we will not go rogue. We will follow exactly what you do. And 2 of them did not listen at all. Till the money check was given, they all said they will listen.
I think that is the truth about every founder.
Yeah, once the check hit the bank, okay, Tata, see you, bye-bye was the... Okay. I'm just exaggerating. It was not that way, but yes.
No, but I get your point. Like there was a business plan before the fundraise and then another business plan after the fundraise.
Okay. So 2 who actually listened to me, I personally started realizing myself that am I a hindrance to their growth? Because the way this startup community is working, growth is very important.
Right.
And if you're growing slowly and if you're not utilizing the funds intelligently and putting it only in the bank and allowing it to earn 8% just to keep that satisfaction that you have the money in the bank, that is also not correct.
Agreed.
So I realized, okay, fine, we need to maintain that balance. And when I went back to them a year back and I said, listen, let's go for growth. It's okay. Don't worry. We will go ahead and invest and we will see growth. Only two things we'll do. We'll make a business plan. We'll see the trajectory. If the trajectory is going as per the business plan, maybe not reaching to the number. Let us say we decided that we are at 100 and we want to reach 200 in the next year. I'm just giving an example. And we started investing from April. Now, if 100 is only going at 102, 103, 104, 105, we're doing something wrong, we need to pull the plug. If you are growing at 108, now you're reaching 116. You're not reaching 120, but you're reaching 116. But the trajectory is going in the right direction. The trends are meeting. You should say, okay, go further and invest. So, in simple, small words, fail fast, fail cheap. Fail fast, fail cheap. Fail fast, fail cheap. Fail
So
fast, fail
important.
cheap.
I think that fail fast
Fail
and
cheap.
then fail cheap.
You realize you are making a mistake, stop there.
Wow.
If you do not realize and you keep on doing, then that's a fault. The other two companies, they had a business plan. They started investing. In 6 months, they saw the trajectory was not going there. In fact, they were flat. They were supposed to grow.
So none of the experiments were working.
Now it's working. Now you should stop. Now they did not stop. In spite of us telling them, stop, stop, stop. They did not. And what happened? All the cash which was there, now those set of founders are only doing fundraising all throughout 12 months. And these set of founders, they are having some peace of mind and they're growing in the right way, in the right direction.
Yeah.
So to answer your point, as a board, we should also realize that growth is important because if they do not grow, there will be somebody else who will take their place because the market is moving very fast. So that balance is required. I cannot allow them to think like how HRIPL is thinking. See, they're at a different scale, Anirudh. So let's be fair. And I'm being very honest with you. I have invested in so many companies with you. We have invested together. Sometimes I feel that I am a hindrance. So rather than being a hindrance, I said, let me be the conscious keeper.
Yeah. You've become your uncle's position here now.
Yes.
I see.
Be the conscious keeper. Keep reminding them, listen, this is not happening. Keep reminding them Q1. Keep reminding them the month after the first quarter and the month after the first quarter. 2 months. Now you are 5 months down the line. If things are not happening the way, then you say, stop it. Let's sit back, think what went wrong and change our ways of working. So we should be fair to the young founders, as I told you before, sometime back.
I agree. I think what happens, sir, Manish ji, is that I think when founders are doing well, lots of reports come to you, lots of updates come to you, lots of updates come to the board, right? And even that's what I'm saying. Maybe at that time, the board can make suggestions, may agree with, hey, keep doing this, maybe tweak this, tweak that, don't tweak anything. It's when the bad news starts flowing, right? Because obviously it's a business. Nothing's going to be great all the time. In a 10-year journey, at least 3 or 4 years are going to be bad or maybe middling, right? In that situation, actually, that's where the real value of the board starts coming out.
Yeah. But the only thing the board has to remember is they should not do backseat driving.
Yeah.
You should allow the founder to go and chase his vision because you invested in his vision.
Correct.
Now you yourself cannot be the roadblock. You can be a speed breaker.
Correct.
At the right time. If you think he's going wrong, be a speed breaker there. Tell him, okay, listen, slow down, man.
Yeah.
Think. But don't be a roadblock. Because if you block him, then you are going to lose. He's also going to lose a lot.
Absolutely.
So it's a dialogue. So I'm saying...
but I feel that founders are not... Like, imagine if you have someone with your knowledge on the board, right? I think you don't get a Manish Chhabra on the board of your company. Forget the four. Let's talk about the next four also, right? Just for his money. Then you literally lost the plot, right? Because honestly, you get Manish Chhabra because he will tell you all the mistakes he has made. He has lost 50 crores on a DO. He's probably lost another. I mean, if you go over the lifelong of it, probably over 100 crore on different experiments.
Exactly.
So you don't have to make the same mistakes on which he has personally lost 100 crore.
Yes.
Right.
You are right, Anirudh. But let's talk today. Today, there is, as we say, VCs and investors and angel investors like us have also become a little cautious. I am just requesting, investors like you and others that don't corrupt the mind of the founder by giving him false, valuation targets and dreams. Be real. Invest behind his vision. Allow him and give him, enough fuel so that he concentrates on business and not on fundraising.
Fundraising, yeah, I agree.
The problem with a few is that they do something which is called the carpet bombing. They will invest small amounts in different founders. Now what happens there is the founder, poor guy, that much money will take him only from year to year.
Yeah.
Then after that, he's again going back, meeting and pitching for more money
To new investors.
Rather than concentrating on his business.
Yeah.
So invest in few startups whom you think have that right vision and right values, and then back them fully.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that all investments which we will make will yield the right kind of result. There are external factors. There are somebody who's much smarter than you. Sometimes the idea which you think works maybe doesn't work the way you thought it would work. So those things will come in, but you will make lesser mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes will happen, even both sides.
In fact, you said something that I probably haven't been able to articulate very well in this journey. So when we started thinking about this double down model that we use, right? What the intent was, if I give the founder the confidence that as long as you're performing, don't worry about the next 50, 60, 70 crores. It'll come from one of the funds that we have. We'll get that done. Just focus on chase the customer, get the customer.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the money. Right, that was our intent. Quite honestly, I felt every time founder, imagine a plane, it pushes back and gets to the tarmac, gets to the taxiway, it needs to be refueled again. We've only given it enough fuel to get to the taxiway. It gets on the runway. Arey Baba, fuel is out again. Let's fuel it again.
Exactly.
It takes off the ground. It's out.
That's the right analogy. That you give enough fuel, so that it can go from one destination to the other destination,
or at least get to mid-flight. Right?
Yeah. And then you know what to do.
Correct.
So yes, we have to be careful. We are responsible investors. As I say, as an HRIPL chairman right now, executive chairman, I'm responsible for the board, management committee, and responsible for the whole HRIPL family. We as angel investors or VCs are also responsible for these founders.
Correct.
They are young boys, girls who have left. Some have left meaty jobs, meaty salaries, and come here. It is our responsibility also to ensure that they make it big.
And fail fast, fail cheap. I think that's the important part, right? Because the expensive mistakes that are coming out today, where hundreds of crores are getting, then you have tens of thousands of people that are getting out of a job, entire ecosystems are getting affected.
Yeah. Let me give you my example. When Premji Invest decided to, second time around, double down, as you used the word double down, so I realized that, okay, now what? Now again, I realized now the stakes are becoming much, much larger. Much, much larger. Even than I imagined in 1991 when I started, or the family started their journey. We never imagined that, we will be at this stage, which is so heartwarming and so nice. We said, what do we do? again, I realized that now we require professional management to come in. And again, I took a step back and allowed professional management to come in. Yes, we handled them for 6 months, decided everything, made the do's and the don'ts. We ensured that the fabric with which HRIPL is made, that does not get distorted.
True.
Cultural changes, okay, people, sometimes mistake that if you are changing, if the new management is coming and changing things, they are changing the culture. No, change is required. But within the guardrails of the culture is very important. You don't change the fabric by which HRIPL was made. So we ensured that, they do not distort that. And we don't do backseat driving. And we give the professional management complete, both authority and autonomy to do whatever they want to do. Is a testimony to say that when you are investing in a startup, you do the same.
Correct.
You do not allow the fabric with which he or she has started his journey to change. And you don't do backseat driving, but you ensure that he grows and does not get deviated in his journey with which he started with. That's what you're supposed to do.
Wow. And along the way, I think now, obviously, because you obviously there is some wealth now that is liquid at this point. Not everything in the company, so you've also started investing.
Yes.
Become an angel investor. Like you said, you've done 4 companies. You've become an LP. I know you're one of the most sought out people. I personally just dump all the cosmetic companies that I have. Like, I just have a WhatsApp, sir. Please.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the confidence which you show. It humbles me. I feel responsible. As I said, you have taken money from your investors. You're investing on their behalf. You are asking me for an advice at times. It's a big responsibility. You can't just brush it out as something which whenever you send me something, I read it.
I know. And the detailed notes I get back, I'm like, इतने अच्छे notes तो मैं खुद भी नहीं लिख सकता.
No. Yeah. So yes, I am doing in that journey. I'm learning that journey right now. I've still not become a proper angel investor because of my operational nature. I'm very hands-on. I've been very operational all throughout my life.
But honestly, sir, to see you in a boardroom, and I've seen this now. I think I've seen it. Well, obviously, we saw it with the company we have invested together. We haven't announced it yet, so we'll just leave the name out for now. But obviously, in that company, in the way you treat or even speak or even encourage those founders, but also the recent one where you had the founders were in there and good numbers, right? But just the way you started out with a very it was a very interesting way of how empowered they felt at the start, and then you gave your perspective, and by the end they were completely on your side.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm coming to this specific company is because when you raise money, and I remember you talking about it, that when you raise money, the first time the SHA came in your hand, there are covenants there, right? Until now, you've been running companies on your own, like board meeting is all, it's there, but it's literally a rubber stamp, right? Yeah. But now there was all these covenants, and you said, I think it took you a long time. I remember.
It is very difficult. SHAs, they are funny. You feel that you're giving away your life. But SHAs, SPAs, they are made with the worst possible permutation that can happen. In real world, it doesn't happen that way. But you have to read them with the right spirit.
Yeah.
And again, my advice to the founders is that please understand, it's important to read in between the lines. It's important to understand what every clause means. But every clause is not draconian the way you think it is. you have to read it with the spirit of what the investor is thinking, and you have to read it with the spirit that are you going to do this?
Yeah.
If you're never going to do that act,
Then don't worry about
then
it.
why worry about it?
Yeah.
You know, I have met many founders who have come and tell me, sir, अगर ये हो जाएगा तो ये लोग तो मेरा पूरा बोर कर लेंगे, मेरा पूरा 100% कंपनी चला जाएगा. मतलब आप ये करने वाले हो क्या? नहीं. Then why you worry it?
And I also feel like to your
और
example,
मतलब कि अगर आपने कर भी दिया तो आप तो गए ही गए, उस बेचारे का पैसा भी गया.
Correct.
वो कंपनी नहीं रहेगी तो you know what are you going to do? Think about it in that particular fashion.
that's what I was going to say. If you do that worst act, there's nothing left in the company to
the
salvage.
company, what is he going to do with it eventually? You know, so it's either lose or win.
Yeah.
It's never going to be I win and you lose, or you lose and I win. It's either going to be win
Or lose.
lose.
Yeah.
If we lose together. If we win together.
Correct.
It can never be I win, you lose, I win. Never. It never happens that way. You know, there's a saying that, you know, when you buy a flat, the buyer always thinks that I paid ₹1 lakh more,
Yeah.
and the seller always thinks that I pay ₹1 lakh less,
Yeah.
and I got ₹1 lakh less, whatever. But you have to ask them, okay, if this buyer goes off, go and sell in the market at the same cost, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. Correct.
And you have to ask the buyer, you go and buy at the same price some other property, are you going to get it? No. So it's all in the mind. A buyer will always think that way. A seller will always think that way, but that's okay. If you have the faith in what you're doing is right, go ahead and do it. Just have faith and take that leap of faith. That's very important for every founder, every investor. And I tell investors also sometimes, you know, they try to go too deep in between the lines. If this does not happen, if what will happen? If that does not happen, what will happen? Listen, it's a startup. They are made assumptions. If they don't make assumptions and don't make their business plan, then you will say you are not making a business plan. Now, if they have made an assumption, if you're saying an assumption is wrong, poor guy, where will he go? But at the same time, to the founder, I would like to say, do not create unrealistic assumptions in your business plan, because after the first quarter, you are answerable.
Yep.
So be real, both sides.
Just so many learnings, Manishji. I think I hope I could keep you for another few hours. I want that 1 hour with all the losses you were talking about that you have made. I want to really learn.
Some other day we will surely talk about it.
But that getting said, now as you look forward, right, 2025, it's been 10 years since the first check came in from Premji. I'm sure that they are also now coming to some, although they're not a traditional fund, but obviously there is an expectation at some point to start to monetize. So what does the next 5, maybe 10 years look like for HRIPL?
See, you know, as I said, it's a one-way street. At some point of time, you know, your investor. In our case, yes, it's Premji Invest, and they are one of the most amazing, most patient investors, you know, anybody can get. But yes, they also have their, you know, internal.
And they are the only investor on the cap table.
Yes,
Nobody.
only investor on the cap table. They will want an exit, and it is the duty of the board and me as the executive chairman and the family's responsibility to give them a handsome exit, which will happen. Fingers crossed. The management committee currently who's led, they are doing a great job. We will surely come out with some value creation event in the next 24 months or 36 months. It will be a good one, I'm sure. And yes, I at this point of time, I can say yes, there will be a value creation event which will happen in the next 18 to 24, 30 months, which will be fruitful for everybody
involved in the business. And yes, the family
will be there again. For us, it's a legacy.
Yeah.
We will continue.
The next generation is also getting involved.
Yes, very soon. Yes, they will eventually at some point of time. We will want them to shadow, the CXOs currently.
This will be the fourth generation in the business.
Yes, fourth generation in the business. They will.
But I noticed one thread all the way through is Rochelle. You know, every time you came up with something, you went back and spoke to Rochelle. I went back and spoke to Rochelle. What is the role that, because I feel that she is the co-founder here, right? Yeah. Obviously Ashish, everyone is, but I'm saying for you personally, she was a co-founder at multiple levels. What role has she played, and how have you all played off each other in this journey?
We have, from day one, now it has been 33 years of marriage and 37 years of courtship, if you can say.
Well, foundership, I would say.
We have gone through our, own journeys in our own way. Never allowed business or business decisions to interfere in our personal relationship. We have been very clear on those, few aspects of life. By nature, she is very accommodative, I can say.
And she's a great cook, by the way.
Yeah, she's very accommodative. And because she's very accommodative, it makes my life easier. Yes, the only person who has been operational all throughout, even today,
correct,
is her.
And NDP, right?
Yeah,
New developments are.
And she reports to the CEO right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. She reports to the CEO. Yeah, that's true. Wow, yeah, that's true.
She reports to the CEO, and the management committee then eventually reports to the board, and the board is led by me. So yes, obviously,
it's a very interesting dynamic there.
Very interesting dynamic out here, but
that's what I was trying to get.
I allow them to do what they want to do. Yeah, I don't interfere much.
Because I think it's a very interesting dynamic. You've got a third-party investor. Obviously, they themselves a family office investor.
Yes.
You are an entire family involved in the business, run in a professional manner. This is just breaking so many of those myths out there.
Yeah.
Right.
No, see, and it's very important. My current board, we have a very strong board right now also.
Acha.
Yeah. And like we have Aditya Ghosh and we have Shini. They bring in so I would say they bring in that right values at the right time to the family, and ensuring that the family and the investor both are kept honest.
True.
And they ensure that there's a smooth transition of dialogue and understanding. So the board plays a very important role, and I would urge family offices, family businesses, that they should choose the right independent directors to come on board, because they are a bridge between you and the main investor. They ensure that both expectation setting. Okay, let me put it this way. They ensure that the expectation settings are met in the right direction. Investor has some expectations. The family has some expectations. The board ensures that they keep that expectations honest on both sides. That's very important. So I think a good board with a proper management and right intentions is the right recipe
for success.
For success.
Wow. I think this is perfect segue to really summarize what we've learned so far, right? I mean, 1989, today, 36 years later, we're sitting here talking about an incredible journey, which I think in many ways, I mean, you're only 55. So really the journey has still got many more decades to go. You've got your next generation coming in and a bright set of responsible individuals that you're bringing on board. Yet there is a very strong culture there. I have personally experienced it, obviously, because of as being co-investors in a couple of companies together. And just, I think there is an overall persona, an overall ethos that really runs through the family. And it's amazing that we, where this started. And if you think of where it could have, so many places could have gone wrong. But the ability for you to and I love that statement. I'm gonna definitely put that on a t-shirt, right? Like, fail fast, fail cheap. Yeah. Because you always hear fail fast, right? But fail cheap is also very, very important. Very important. Don't bet the entire company on an experiment.
Yeah, and always remember, Anirudh, I always tell founders, make a company that can be bought.
Yeah.
Don't make a company which you want to sell.
Correct.
Because then you are chasing something which is called as a valuation, which technically has to be an outcome.
Correct.
And not the destination.
So true. I again, there's just so many quotable references here. We could have a t-shirt series, right? Because again, it's build a company to be bought, right? It's again, what does that even mean? It means like you set up a house in a manner that somebody can just come in and start living there from the next day, right? And as long as that is there, that will drive a valuation on its own, quite honestly, right?
Exactly.
Because that means the company is ready for any sort of ownership, for any sort of entrepreneur to join it. And I think all of these things really speak very highly. I think this has been such an enlightening episode once again, because we've learned today that, you don't have to raise money to build something massive, right? Today, HRIPL probably around 1,200 to 1,500 crore top line, still 15% EBITDA, which is, again, people can do the math. Even if you take the most conservative valuation metrics out there, we're talking about, almost under $1 billion brand, which has been built literally on very little capital when you think about it. But the legacy, the fact that, look at how long people remember those ads from, right? Look at the kind of ad, look at the kind of places you experimented and went out. You did things, and at that time you did things that day that nobody else wanted to, and then now you're doing things that nobody else can. And I think I always go back to and tell founders, do you realize what it takes to be at 40,000 salon points in this country? And do you realize that not all salons here look like supercuts, right? They're, like you said, 5 seats. It's very, very small. So
and not to forget 4.5 lakh outlets which we reach directly.
Correct. And I think that's what drove the valuation. Exactly. Like that drove someone like the Premji family, yes. Because they already have Wipro consumer, right? Yes. For them to come in, it's a huge validation, right, in itself. So as is custom here, we're going to get, next thing is going to be rapid fire. But before that, do you have anything else to summarize today's conversation which founders can remember?
You know what? I think I've said it all. I would just want founders to, remember that don't just be childlike. Don't think that, if I've innovated this and this is the end of the day, just be like, what a child does. You give him one toy, he plays with it, he enjoys it, and the next day he wants
a new
toy. So, it's in the similar way, be childlike. You have made something which is good, you have enjoyed it, it has grown. Think about the next thing.
Yeah.
What you're going to do. Don't fall, and the other thing is, don't fall in love with your innovation.
Correct.
The moment you start falling in love with your innovation, you will never fail cheap. Because you will fail once, but you're so much in love with your innovation, you will say, I'll try one more time.
Correct.
Then you again try one more time. And now the cost of failing is becoming expensive. Because
every single
time. You are trying. There is data in front of you, but you're not looking at the data. You are saying, you're not looking at the data.
Yeah.
And you are throwing the data away because you're in love with that particular.
Don't fall in love with the product.
Don't fall in love with the product. Yes, start with that, but then look at data. Because data is important. Go with your gut. Look at data. Trust, but verify.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Incredible lessons all the way through. I think you left us with another tidbit that is going to be in the next episode when we bring you back. But I would love to, just the rules of rapid fire. Manishji, simple. I have a list of around 10, 12 questions here. Whatever I ask, whatever first comes to mind, please tell us. Because again, we're just trying to learn now what you're like as a person. So are we ready? Do you need a break?
Sure. No, I'm
Good.
fine.
All right. Perfect, sir. What's the first thing you touch when you wake up in the morning?
How much did I sleep? Ultra human.
And what's one piece of advice that you have received from your mother that you still carry forward with you today?
Very important. In this billion people, you got one brother. You could have had anybody. Friends are by choice. Family is God-given. If you believe in God, believe in your family.
Wow.
Because from 1 billion, 2 billion people, you have got one brother, one sister, one child. There is something God wanted, right?
Right.
For
And why
you to
you?
be together.
Correct.
Always remember that whenever you have some doubt in your mind.
Wow.
And she says it to everybody in the family, not only to me.
One trend in beauty that you think is overhyped?
I will suddenly become Shah Rukh Khan. It's not going to happen. I have to respect my beauty. And I have to try to enhance it. See, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Beauty is internal. These are all cliches you might find. But let me tell you honestly. If you are confident, passionate, and compassionate, the beauty will show. You require tools to enhance your physical experience. But internally also you need to be a little bit more compassionate. It will all come out. It's a combination. I'm going beyond one words, I'm sorry.
No. A book or a podcast you think that changed the way you think?
I read a very interesting book and I keep on referring to it, 2 books actually, which I keep on referring to it all the time. One is Difficulty of Being Good. It's amazing book. Guru Charan Das, he wrote that book. It's amazing. It's about the Mahabharata with the modern, in the modern setup, and he's given amazing examples. And the other is Confucius from the Gut. It talks about the word like if you have to define one person by one word, what will you say? It's like forbearance. I'll not ask anybody to do something which I will not do.
Correct.
So these kind of small things. I think these 2 books are
Confessions from the Gut.
Yeah,
and
Confessions from the Gut. And Difficulties of Being
Good.
Yeah, these are 2 books which obviously I read a lot, but these 2 books are always there with me in my archives, and I keep on reading them again and again.
3 words you would use to describe the Indian startup ecosystem?
Passionate, restless, overambitious.
Overambitious. I definitely agree with you there. I think we all want to get to some fictionary number very quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Versus saying, hey, it's like it's okay to take 20 years to build a business, because those are the businesses that last.
So hence I said, first they are passionate.
Yeah.
You cannot, these kids are really passionate. I love their energy. I love their energy. They are restless. They have ants in their pants. Always fidgety, thinking, which is good. You require that little bit. If वो नहीं होगा, then how will he want to grow? My worry is the over-ambitious part.
Yeah.
You have to be realistically ambitious.
Correct. And it's better to grow. And I always tell people, if you grow 1% per day, when I ask them, hi, how much do you think you've grown in a year? Right? And they always answer is like 365%. I said, no. You've grown 42 times in a year. If you grow 1% per day, it looks very small. but it compounds. The power of compounding is what matters. Grow every month. Don't do these big, massive programs and you suddenly grow 50% per month, then you're out of money.
Yeah.
Everything is gone. And 6 months you're like wondering ab kya kare. Then again you have money, then again you go there. So what is one cosmetics company that you wish you had invested in? Or maybe was offered to you, but you at that time did not invest, but you wish you had invested in it?
Honestly, I respect what CK has built for himself in Kevin Care. He's always been my mentor, and I respect him a lot. I respect Harsh Mariwala sir, of Marico. Marico has taught me a lot in life. I respect them a lot. In fact, when I was, transiting from my MD CEO role to the board, I had gone to him for advice.
Acha.
And he gave me a very sound advice. In fact, he gave me a paper which said what to do, what not to do as an MD CEO and board member. When I was first 100 crores, I met CK Ranganathan and I asked him, what do I do? And he was my competitor.
Wow.
And he gave me the right advice. And we still are close friends. We keep on talking sometimes. So these two companies, I really respect. They never offered me to invest. I invested. But yes, I respect them a lot.
How do you keep the team motivated?
Entrepreneurs dream of growth. But when they dream alone, is their dream. What I have done is, and this is, I've demonstrated many times, that we ensure that we dream together. And if you have the guts to dream together with your team, will surely achieve your targets.
That's a one word that defines your leadership style.
Very passionate.
Very passionate. I think this episode should be about passion. Because
there was a time, Anirudh, in 2008 or 7, I don't remember. Vasmol was not growing and I did not know what to do. And people were losing faith in Super Vasmol 33 kg Kala. Streax was not reached the stage which it had to reach. And what to do? So I called for a All India Sales Conference in Hyderabad. We went to Ramoji City and I booked that hangar, the big hangar where you could accommodate 400 people. And first time everybody, SR se leke sabko bulaya. And one day before, me and my GM HN Singh, we wrote a song, Hum Hai Vasmol, Bechenge Vasmol. It was a 6-minute song.
6-minute song, wow.
We wrote one day before, me and HN Singh went to Hyderabad. We choreographed that song. And in between the conference, nobody knew. Even Rochelle did not know. We went in between the conference, the light went off, pitch dark. And this song started.
आगे रहेंगे अपना गोल
And I danced for 6 minutes on the stage.
Wow.
And after the song got over, a 25 feet banner of Vasmol came down rolling, saying, Hum hai Vasmol, bechenge Vasmol. We grew by 18% next year. And after that, we kept on growing in double digit.
Incredible.
There were tears flowing in the full hall was crying. कि आदमी पागल हो गया है. And I told them, then few of them, obviously, you have some people के नाचने से गाने से अगर कंपनी बढ़ जाती, सेल बढ़ जाती तो क्या होता? But we grew.
But what was your answer to that? I mean, obviously, I don't think you answered.
I did not have to answer anything because, I don't go by exceptions. ठीक है, उनको साइड पे रखो. वो देखेंगे. And बहुत मजा आया. वो साल बहुत मजा आया. हमने क्या माल बेचा उस टाइम वासमोल का.
And I think it's that childlike, childlike energy that you have, right?
And everybody is dancing, and I am like, people like 6-minute dumb folded. कर क्या रहा है ये बंदा?
I want a video of this.
Yeah, I will send it to you.
Perfect.
हम वासमोल बेचेंगे, वासमोल गांव जाएंगे, retailing करेंगे. No, whatever we could not do, we were not doing.
Yeah.
Or the sales team was not doing. I wrote that in that song. Me and HN Singh both wrote together.
It's so interesting you say that because when we were selling door to door, we also had a song. Right? Whenever we would have a hard day, that was a song to read or song to say, or whatever you could say. It wasn't really You really hummed it as you did.
I will send you that song.
I would love to see it. It's so interesting. There are so many commonalities in our journey, right? And I'm 15 years behind, 16 years behind you.
To your team and देखो ये क्या आदमी है.
यही आदमी है.
नाचता है stage पे.
Well, if you ask the team, they will say ये तो office में नाचते हैं. But that getting said, sir, I truly appreciate you have shared so much, and I think this is one of those episodes for founders to go back and see again and again. Obviously, it doesn't matter whether you are building a consumer brand, you're building a B2B brand, an enterprise brand. The point is that the brand ethos and the kind of effort it takes to really build a business, and especially building a business in India, I don't think people even realize what 1991 India would have been like. And to set up a 3,000 square foot factory would have taken the life out of you, right? With all the red tapeism that was there at that time. Because I remember how difficult it was for me to put together a solo project in 2011. And that was still 20 years after you.
125% excise duty.
Exactly. And the fact that up to chalo, GST has simplified.
Now things are so easy.
Yeah. Million times easier than what it was.
Million.
But for someone to really realize that where Indian ecosystem started, and where we are today, and yet we have so much more there's just so much more to be done. I think this is exactly the kind of learning and journey that people needed to know. Thank you so much, sir. Any final words for the audience before we end?
No. I think I've spoken enough. No, thank you for, allowing me to relive this journey. Episodes like this and patient listeners like you, help founders like us to relive our memories, number one, and feel rejuvenated. It brings a new life into us and say, chalo, abhi to journey start hui hai.
एक और dance बाकी है, sir.
Yes, you're right. But on a good note, not because I don't want to go back कि वो brand नीचे जा रहा है और वापस मुझे dance.
We'll do it for a new brand. No, but once again, thank you so much, Manishji. I am truly humbled for you to come here, and I know there was so many more uses of your time, so many people that needed it.
This was amazing.
But I think what you've given to us is literal. I think if there's anything beyond gold, that is more, because right now gold's 1 lakh for 10 grams. So I don't know if there's something more expensive. But truly appreciate it. Thank you so much once again. I look forward to having you back.
Yes.
And one of these days, definitely having a chance to share some of the experiments you did, the ones that you lost out on, because that's where the learning happened. And thank you once again very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.